Need a little red button outside.
A little red button. Yeah, we need like a little flashing recording in progress.
Are you going to be good?
I think so. We did it. Bachelorette party.
Yeah, if we sound a little hoarse, that's because we spent the whole weekend screaming.
We are hurting today. We apologize, but honestly, this is the uncut, unfiltered version of us that everybody asked for. Mm-hmm. So,
and honestly, it was a success.
It was such a success. I said this in the group chat yesterday, but it went down as my top three Bachelorette parties ever.
And you know what? That's a huge compliment because I've never planned a Bachelorette.
Yeah, well, you crushed it. And I don't know, maybe it's because it like spoke so much to me that everything was a competition and a game that I was like, yes, yep. Yeah.
Well, it was, I think it was a great balance of like insanity, but also chill. And I was also telling Allison this morning, Bachelorettes are so different in your 30s and in your 20s.
Oh my gosh.
And I know not everyone there was 30, but I think almost everyone was about 30. Like 28 would be the youngest, if I could guess. And everyone just like automatically like sectioned off into helpful units. So there's people who did tidying, there's people who did dishes, there's people who set up things, there's people who cooked. And they just like, after one group moved out of the kitchen, the dishes people came in, and we didn't even talk about that. It just happened.
Yeah, it was like very organic.
It was kind of like a Cinderella story. Everyone just became tiny little helpers.
Yeah, just birds fluttering around,
just flitting about, and within like an hour and a half, everything was clean.
There were guns at this Bachelorette party, like actual guns, guys. Yeah, just had
it wasn't an actual gun; it was a pellet gun,
which apparently you can die from
at close range.
Yeah,
I think if you shot a BB in your eye, you could die too. There's I think there's levels. Again, I'm not a gun expert, but like BB, pellet, real gun.
Yeah, well, we did it all, friends. We did it all this weekend,
and nobody lost. Nobody shot their eye out.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, we're all here to tell the story, and now...
And Allie was very happy. Bride happy at the end.
That's literally, as we know from last episode, that is the only thing that matters. We could have all had a terrible time, and as long as she left having the best time of her life, that's a win in our books.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Okay, so we are recovering, like we already said. And then we're getting ready for what can only be described as our, like, holiday season, which is fall in the bridal world.
September and October are looming hard.
Yeah,
I have what is the Sunday scaries of like a month, you know, like
of an entire season.
I have Sunday scaries for September and October.
Yeah, and just a little like background on that, when we say that it's like our holiday season, this is the busiest time in the bridal world. Not only are we at market spending tens of thousands of dollars on new dresses.
We should have my mom on the next episode so we can understand the spending dynamic that goes on at every market meeting we have.
Yeah, it's a very significant amount of money. Plus, this is the time where we have the most appointments in the boutique because summer's over and they're like, oh, right, I'm getting married next summer. Or you're having like not early birds, but the girls that are like shopping on time for these fall weddings next year. And it's like,
maybe we should call it the September scaries. I think everyone gets September scaries. Like last week of August, everyone's like, oh my God.
Okay. Yeah. I don't get that though. I love it. Like,
I love fall. I love fall. Back to school is like, but I find it goes from a transition to me, especially with my friends, where I feel like I have all this extra time. Maybe it's because the days are longer.
That's true. Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm seeing everyone. We're on patios. We're like making plans every evening. And then September creeps up and you're like, oh my God. Like, it's like real life is impending. Like the summer is kind of coming to a close and you get the September scaries.
Yeah. And it's kind of like funny because it's like, it's not like we don't work during the summer, but for some reason it feels like you're going back to work in September.
Yeah. It's like the teacher reset is happening.
With that, like last week I put up on Instagram, we're seeing the increase in bookings and appointments. We're seeing like more brides saying yes. But when I put up that poll about like 2024 brides that haven't bought their dress, it was 52% of them hadn't bought their dress yet, which I feel, oh my gosh, my phone's ringing. Sorry. Somebody from Owen Sound is calling me. Guys, there's just somebody wanting to clean my ducks. I don't have ducks. I have a pregnant dog. Okay, so 52% of people who are getting married in 2024 that answered our Instagram poll have not purchased their dress, which I think is a shocking amount, because I feel like any other year the majority have bought by this point. Even though this is going into our biggest season, I think it's almost we start talking about like 2025 brides at this point, right? Like,
yeah, it's kind of insane because we do this kind of question around this time because we're like, okay, how are we going to plan for our September scaries? How are we going to plan for the rest of the year? Like a lot of us go to market, like staffing, buying, like who's left? And we usually do this question, and you're right. You're like, it's well over 50 have bought, almost always. Like I would say 60 to 75% of people are like, okay, I've got it locked in. And then we have that insane period at the end of the month, or at the end of the year, kind of where people are like, oh my God, I'm getting married next year. And next year's in a month and I haven't bought my dress. And that's an insane time, because it's like, I think it's also interesting because there's a disconnect in our team sometimes where like media is constantly trying to educate on the gram. So top of mind in your mind is like, I don't know how much more I can hammer this in, but like girls are still rocking in being like, oh yeah, I'm getting married in March. And you're like, March. And it's like, so like, they're so relaxed about it. And then some girls with the timing, I think we talk about this all the time. There's like nothing could scare this girl ever into buying when she needs to. And then there's the girls who come in and they are at a not great time. And as the appointment goes on, they realize more and more that, oh my God, I've kind of fucked up and I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like you can't go back in time. So I think there's just like, it's hard because you feel like you couldn't jam it down people's throats anymore, that you need to be shopping like 10 to 13 months in advance, 10 to 14 months in advance. 12 months is perfect. 11 months is great. 10 months, you're pushing it. And then there's the girls who are like, yeah, I'm getting married in 6 months. Like, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
The thing is, when we say shopping, like we mean buying.
Yeah.
Like you should be buying.
If you're going to need more than one appointment, shopping and buying are not the same thing.
No, exactly. And that's like a huge differentiator. And it's not a sales tactic. And I think that sometimes people probably, because I think like if I wasn't in the industry, I would probably think like, oh yeah, that's a smart sales tactic to like, you know, buy a year in advance of something when they know that their dress is going to come in like 6 or 7 months, say, maybe sometimes even 5 months. But the back end of that is altering and getting your dress and doing all that. And I think people underestimate how much time that takes or how much of a dying art seamstressing is. You know, if you're getting married in peak season for weddings, there's also a peak season for alterations. Yeah. And it just kind of all trickles back.
It's like, I think it's a time blindness too of like, okay, when I email you your dress is here, it's not like you can come pick it up tomorrow. Like you're still working. So like some people are like, oh, okay, I can't make that one because there's a shower. And so we email you and then it's 3 weeks until you can get here because of appointments or because of how busy we are. And so it's like the buffer is not a sales tactic. It's a life raft.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, honestly, sometimes even if you get into a situation where you have to start paying rush fees,
that's not usually in the budget.
Yeah. Or even if it is in the budget, like there's still going to be a back end for like, maybe that means you're paying rush fees for alterations, which are a thing, or, you know, or you just run out of time because there's nothing to be done. And so it's not a sales tactic. Please buy on time.
Yeah. And I think there's things that you don't like, even we don't realize that it's always heartbreaking when one of our designers can't rush a certain dress because of the fabric.
Yeah.
And like, that's not always top of mind when you're selling. Like I'm obviously this girl has short timelines. So that puts our stylists in like a different mindset. But sometimes you're like, okay, made with love, really safe, can do fast rushes. This is great. And that's how you're categorizing things. And then they try on this one dress, which we can't rush because of the fabric. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, we got to switch gears. And this girl starts falling in love with things or comes with a certain picture. Just, it's like I said, it's not a pressure. It's a safety raft. So you to be able to find whatever you want within your parameters without being limited.
Yeah. And I think you kind of nailed it there, that even though we do offer, oh my gosh, guys, I'm hurting.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be
okay. Even though we offer rush fees, not every dress, like that doesn't apply to every dress.
And sometimes production gets overwhelmed and they stop offering them just on a whim. They're just like, starting next week, we're not offering rushes. And you're like, oh, okay.
Okay, good. All right.
This isn't meant to be a scary episode. Are we going to rename it?
We're just going through some shit.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be great. But I just thought it was very interesting that 52% of people, like, that's something that we have and the post-COVID bridal bubble is so, like, we're still trying to navigate what this looks like, what seasonality looks like, and maybe this is all part of it. But when I asked on the gram, like, if you haven't bought your dress, like, what are the reasons? The most popular ones were, I had money. Which, I mean, I think that's always, but I feel like this year it's even more. Like, obviously everything's gone up in price, like from your groceries to wedding dresses to venues to like whatever it is, literally everything. So I get that. Organizing schedules. And that is kind of like a bit to what you said in the whole, like, if you're shopping around and you want to have that experience with like all your friends, like that's when you should really be starting at like that 13 months before your wedding to make sure that you can organize and get all those people.
Everyone's tried to make those plans with your 6 best friends and you're like, okay, what is everyone doing 3 months from now? That's the same thing. You think that you can coordinate schedules of like 4 or 6 other women?
No. Yeah. In order to get it out of the group chat, it's got to be a lot of planning ahead of time. We also had the fear of timelessness, or the fear of something better is going to come, which we kind of touched on other podcasts. But the thing is, like, your dress, there's no such thing as timelessness. Fashion's not supposed to be timeless. Like, it runs in cycles, and there's literally always going to be a better dress that you're like, oh, if that was around when I was looking.
We always use that one thing. It's like, you stopped looking for your partner when you found your fiance. Why won't you stop looking for your dress when you found it?
Yeah. And that kind of leads to one of the other ones is like, I can't find the one, which can sometimes be because you're being like so particular and you have like a tight budget, or you're being like very particular and you can't find that designer or whatever it is. Or the opposite is when, maybe not the opposite, but like when you've overshopped, you've shopped too much and now you want the straps of that dress, the top of that dress, the waist of that one.
Yeah.
And then the other one that we got is something that literally always comes up. We are going to do an entire episode on it. So I just want to bring it up to validate everybody that sent it in, but they haven't said yes because not comfortable with their bodies. So to that, I just want to say your stylist job is to show you how confident and amazing you can feel in a dress despite the number that's in that dress, that's sewn into that dress. Like, or despite, you know, whatever thing, like if you're worried about your nose or your arms or whatever it is, like your stylist is there to show you how beautiful a garment can make you feel.
And to walk you through what you're feeling in it. Like if there's certain, and I'm not going to go into too much, this is the last thing I'll say on it because it's going to waste the whole other episode. But like, if there's something that's truly bothering you, then voice it, because there's like, it's the same thing with the slip dress versus structure. If you're just like, oh, I don't like this, and you're like, well, why don't you like it? Let me and my Rolodex of dresses in my head find something that you do feel that way in. If this isn't giving, let's try something else.
Okay, so the last podcast, our Bachelorette episode, it was lots of great feedback. Thank you to everybody that like commented on Spotify and reviews and Apple podcasts and everything. Obviously, we are very happy that you guys are loving this as much as we are loving to do it. But one of the, I guess, segments of the last podcast that everybody seemed to really enjoy was our Marry or Divorce on unpopular weddings, which actually took us way too long to figure out what to call it.
Yeah, we sat here and we were like, pump or dump?
Yeah. Yay or nay? There was another one that you were like, ring or something. And I was like,
toot or boot.
Toot. Okay. We're not doing toot or boot. So Marry or Divorce. So we're going to run through a couple today because this episode is just a chaotic update from the bridal bubble. There's no rhyme or reason.
We're going to batch some more of these.
We're going to,
and you know what? Adele's probably going to spend the next 48 hours editing this so it goes out on time.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even have 48 hours till this goes out. So someone pray for me. But next week we're going to have some guests. We're going to have some, or I guess in 2 weeks, we're going to do our everything your bridal stylist needs you to know in prep for this insane September, October, November that we're going to have. So if you have any questions, as always, DM us, email us, whatever you want. But for now, off to
married or divorced.
Dun, da, da. I don't know. Okay, we got some good ones here. Oh, this one. Okay, this one came up more times than I thought that it would. And that was walking down the aisle together. Like you and your partner walking down the aisle, opposed to the bride who traditionally either walks down the aisle herself or with her father or mother or whatever.
So you and
bride,
partner. You and
yeah.
about to be married humans.
Yeah.
Huh.
Marry or divorce.
Okay, can I be separated from this idea?
What?
You know what you do before you get divorced? You get separated.
Oh. No.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm married as an industry professional. I'm married to it because I love something unique and new and that celebrates you as a couple. As an individual, I want to divorce this thing because I just loved the distance that you walk and then the coming together, like that action of like being far from your partner and walking towards them.
Like the drama of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's the anticipation. I love anticipation and excitement and stuff, but I love that I've never heard of this or seen it. So as an industry professional, love.
That's why
marry.
I was shocked that like I think we had like at least 4 or 5 people say this. So sorry, are you marrying or divorcing? You can't just
fine, I'll marry it. I'm already married, so I can't really personally want it. So I marry it. I think it's great. Love it. Married.
Okay, I'm divorcing it.
Why?
Because of the drama of walking down the aisle. I feel like the little traditional self-meet, like I can respect the interesting cool factor of doing it.
Can you? You look like you're gonna barf.
Personally,
over there.
would never choose that, but I think that's cool. I want to see it. I want to see some like photos of it. Can somebody like who does this please send me photos, video? Like I would also like to know like what was like the thought process behind it. Like
maybe they're just really anxious.
Yeah, that's cute.
And you get to look at both people at the same time.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh.
Actually, yeah, that kind of does make sense.
I think you're gonna divorce all these. Shopping with your fiance.
I will marry that.
You're a liar.
Only because you said that I was going to divorce everything. No, but I am going to marry it only because I think that the people that do it need that person there as their
I think we're being too
decision maker.
nice. We're being too nice. I'm divorcing this idea. I think it's stupid.
Why?
Because your fiance doesn't know anything. The person that you're marrying, unless they have a very vested interest in other shopping experiences you've had, I don't think they can give an opinion worth discussing at a bridal shopping experience.
Riddle me this though. When you brought your mom shopping, do you feel like does she come shopping at American Eagle for your jeans with you?
No, but I went shopping with her.
Yeah, but
the mom thing is a different experience.
Okay, fine. Interesting. I just feel like we say like bring your main decision makers and bring them. Like I could just like if I asked Steve to come wedding dress shopping with me, he'd be like, absolutely not. That sounds like the worst day of my life.
Okay, if you're making a decision maker, but still like I'll challenge you on that one. If you could only bring one of your main decision makers, who would it be and why? Because I will bet before you even answer.
Definitely wouldn't be my fiance.
Okay, obviously not. But
wait, my husband, whatever he is.
I would bet that you would bring. Oh, I'm maybe gonna embarrass myself here. Me.
Wow.
Over other friends because this is a wedding dress decision.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's like, yeah.
So
I see your point.
So you're giving like, of course, like I want my mom there, I want my grandma there, my stepmom there. We're all there. I'm not looking at them for an opinion. If you're doing it for the romanticism of buying a dress, yeah, bring whoever makes your heart feel happy. But if there's people that you're tied between two amazing dresses and you want your honest opinion, you're going to bring your honest decision makers. And bless those girls out there that's their mom, but it's probably not, or their fiance. So you still marry this idea for the other people?
I do. I see where you're coming from, but and it's funny, like anytime I've ever been in an appointment when the fiance is there, it's very evident that this person needed them there.
Agreed.
I don't think it's something that you just invite them as a part of the group. it's very pointed. Like it's very much a
yes thing. And some, I'd say, just for some tidbits on there, it's often a second marriage. It's often people are older.
Okay. Okay, this one, I actually put it in.
If you're wondering if Adele plants questions.
Well, no, because nobody said it, and then I said it, and then I asked my friends it, and I was apparently the person that...
The unpopular opinion?
I was the unpopular opinion. I was like, come on. The wedding night, nobody's doing it.
Sorry, having sex?
Yeah, but like the wedding night, I literally had Steve unzip my dress, and I think I was asleep before he even finished brushing his teeth.
Oh, Hondo P.
And apparently I was the weirdo. My friends are like, oh yeah, we had like just like really sloppy sex or something. I'm like, what? Like, I don't think I could have moved my body.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think Colin and I didn't have sex.
No, because Colin was like missing.
Yes. I think in my mind I did. That was the plan for sure.
Oh, for sure. It is absolutely the plan. Absolutely.
I will marry this idea. Yes.
Yeah.
We're both on the same opinion here. You have sex and I do. Well, you plan to.
You plan to have sex, but I think that the wedding night being like this magical sex fest is like, I'm divorcing that idea because it's not.
Oh, it's not magical unless you've maybe never had sex, and then it's probably even more not magical.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We should have like a sex therapist on one time.
Ooh, we should.
To talk about this.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Ooh, I want this one. I want one. No first dance.
I'm going to marry this one. Because I think the only reason why I marry it is because I'm not a dancer, and I thought that was one of the more quote unquote embarrassing, stressful parts of my wedding.
But would you have regretted it?
No.
How do you know that?
Because I feel like if I walked down the aisle with my partner, I would regret that. But for some reason, the first dance didn't mean a lot.
But sometimes you don't know that you're going to regret something because it's so, you're right, that is really traditional, and it was important for me, but again, I don't know. It's like when you didn't go to prom and you didn't think you were going to regret it, and then you did. It's a milestone thing where it's like, this was our first dance song.
Yeah.
Because I don't listen to our walk down the aisle song. Yeah, sometimes maybe, but like the first dance song for me sometimes, like when it plays at home, Colin and I dance to it.
For sure. And it was like, Steve and I like knew like, oh yeah, this will be our first dance song. Like we never even, like, wasn't even a discussion.
It's a milestone.
Yeah, but like I think that song would have always been our song despite doing a first dance or not. And I just feel like it's not the end game for me. I could have done away without it.
No, I like the first dance.
Okay. So you're going to marry.
I'm
marrying the idea of no first dance. You're divorcing it.
I'm divorcing it.
All right. What do we got here?
Oh my God. Can we do the garter toss one because of what somebody said in the shop the other day?
Yeah. What happened? So the question is garter toss. Ew. Are you marrying it or divorcing it?
Well, I'm divorcing it, but.
You're divorcing the idea of it being gross?
Oh no. Okay. I'm divorcing the garter toss.
Okay. Garter toss.
Ew.
Divorce.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed.
We're divorcing the
Big
garter.
Time.
But this family came in the other day and there was lots of them, and I could tell their mom was quite traditional, you could tell. And so this girl is really vibing with everyone upstairs. She's choosing dresses. She's having so much fun already, I can tell. And she's like, girls, talking to us, like the staff. She's like, garter toss. Like, we have to decide here as a collective in front of my mom that we're not doing this. And we're like, yeah, no. Well, first person, Allison, was very PC. She was like, yeah, like not many people do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
inside she's dying because Allison would be mortified by the idea of doing a garter toss.
And she was like, and I was like, yeah, no, people don't really do it anymore. It can be kind of like yucky and blah, blah, blah. And we're all laughing, blah, blah. And then the bride's like, see, Mom, like, I really don't want I didn't want my fiance to take off my garter in front of Grandma. And then Mom says, well, I did it in front of your grandmother.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
And I was like, I don't think that's an argument for.
I haven't been to a wedding with a garter toss in probably my last one was 2019. And
what?
That was
old?
Yeah. And I hadn't seen a garter toss IRL ever.
I think I probably was one at like one of my cousin's weddings. I'm pretty sure I was maybe 15 when she got married. That's the last time I saw a garter in real life. Besides the photos of my parents getting married.
Oh my God, Donna did a garter toss?
Yep.
Stop it.
The only reason I know that is because there's like these really bad film photos
Oh my God, that's so
of
funny.
like she's sitting on a chair. And there's not a photo of my like dad under her skirt, but they're like about to do it, right? They're about to do the garter toss. So she's like sitting in the middle. I think that's the most embarrassing part of it, is that you have to sit in the middle of your family in the middle of the dance floor on a chair.
Oh, I really don't think somebody could pay me to do this.
No.
So we're
Divorcing
the garter toss there. That's a universal big D. Okay, receiving lines are weird. They're a thing of the past. And we talked about this actually at the Bachelorette party this weekend. And somebody was talking about how instead of doing a receiving line, which is usually at the reception as everybody comes in, they say hi to the whole bridal party.
Sometimes on the way out of the church too.
Yeah, or outside the church. But this person, somebody was saying, I think they saw it on TikTok or something, where the bride and groom like invite row by row people to leave the ceremony. And as they do that, they say hi to them.
What?
Yeah. Like, so I'm walking down the aisle, me and my husband walk down the aisle, we're done, and then we start, I guess, at the front, then they walk down the aisle, and then you say hi to those people, and then the next row say hi to, yeah, it's, I'm
So, okay.
I'm gonna just say no to all of it.
Receiving lines are old and outdated, fine. But as a planner, I used to tell couples, you have to say hi to everyone at your wedding.
Of course.
So
Agreed.
if you're having a massive wedding, do a receiving line, because that's the only way you're going to get everyone. And do that. You could do it in 2 parts. You do it wherever, or you physically have to go around to every table and say thanks for coming. So pick your poison.
So
like,
would you argue that the new receiving line is cocktail hour?
Yep. Or again, like if you have a huge wedding, you're physically not going to be able to go to every table.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's a politeness, it's an etiquette thing, and it's also just nice. It's like you have to say thanks for coming. And if you can't get through every table in dinner, or if you would like to sit down and enjoy the extremely expensive food that you bought, then maybe you have to come up with some sort of receiving line alternative, because a receiving line is awkward. It's like a funeral. Like it's very weird.
Very much like a funeral.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Thing.
But
yeah.
the reason we had one is because you want to thank everyone for coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I get the principle of it. I think there's some more modern, updated ways. Okay, spending the night prior to your wedding
together.
Together.
I'm divorcing this idea.
I'm gonna divorce it too.
I really enjoyed spending the night before with one of my bridesmaids, Allie. I also didn't really sleep, so it was kind of like she was there like calm the nerves, and like I think Colin was just stressed me out because he would have been stressed.
Yeah.
I also built more anticipation. I get when it just doesn't work out physically, so I think I would be just as fine with spending the night and then very early in the morning both of us departing.
Yeah.
Like not one just staying there, but like both going, like if we both stayed at home super in the early morning, going off and starting your day. But I do like staying separate.
Agreed.
Okay, any more chaotic update that we need to share about what's going on in the bridal bubble or summer or life? There's so many things on the horizon.
Yeah, and maybe that's the September scaries for me too, is that we're about to just drop a whole bunch of bombs.
Yeah.
Bridal bombs.
Speaking of that, I'm very distracted because Sarah 7 just dropped her new line.
Oh, shit. Let's end this and look at that stuff.
We got to go and look at new dresses.
Bye-bye.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.